Welcome to all you wonderful cooks and hardcore foodies out there. Today's dish is going to be an oriental soup called the sweet corn chicken soup. This is a hugely popular Chinese soup and I'm very sure that most of you are familiar with this. So ENIE'S Creations is going to teach you how to make this delicious soup at home. Our first step is to prepare the chicken broth. Now you can even use canned broth or even those soup cubes that are widely available. In a thick bottom vessel or a saucepan, add a teaspoon of oil and then add 2 cloves of garlic finely chopped, a very tiny piece of ginger finely chopped, on very low heat, saute this for about a minute. Next we'll add a 1/4 cup of finely chopped onions. You don't need to fry the onions for too long, just fry them till they turn tender or translucent. I'm adding 2 chicken drumsticks for the soup, but you can add boneless chicken breasts if you'd like, but I like the flavor that the drumsticks give out when I cook the broth. Just toss the chicken with the ginger and garlic and the onions. Now add 3 cups of water, 1 teaspoon of salt, now we will place a lid over this and cook the chicken for 1 hour at least. Another method to cook this broth is to put it in a pressure cooker and cook it up to 5 whistles. The chicken broth is done. This broth smells so good. Now take out the boiled chicken out of the broth. We'll keep this aside for now and we'll shred it later and add it to the soup. And next what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain the broth. And now return the chicken broth back to the soup pot. Next I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of cream style corn. You can also use a whole kernel corn that you get in cans and run it in the blender and you'll get this cream style corn. Now add half a teaspoon of pepper powder. I'm using black pepper powder. If you have white pepper powder, that's even better. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vinegar. After this, bring the broth to a full boil and then we are going to add some egg whites. I've taken only 1 egg white here. I'm beating it up with a fork. Now stirring the soup with a spoon with one hand, drop in your egg white so that you get a ribbon-like texture. Keep stirring till the egg white is completely cooked. So in this recipe, I am not going to use any corn flour to thicken the soup. The egg whites will provide much for the thickness of the soup. Meanwhile, shred the boiled chicken drumsticks that we had reserved earlier from the broth and then drop this into the soup. Next we'll add some chopped green onions or spring onions. And lastly we'll add 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. Now this is to give the true authentic oriental flavor to the soup. Do try this out at home for your kids especially. Thanks for watching guys.